There's an incident that's really relevant to me. It takes place in a truck. I'll give you a little backstory. I used to think I was telepathic and I could talk with my mind to other people and other uh, objects, other people through objects like a radio. I feel like I could talk to other people telepathically through radio or something like Bumblebee in a Transformers movie where he adjusts the radio to say the words and sentences during songs to get this point across. I felt like I could do that, or at least I was listening to other people who were doing that. So I was in the truck one day and it was happening, and it looked like my dad understood that it was happening too, because he was looking at me like with like bewilderment and excitement in his eyes, and I was too, like, oh my god, you finally understand, you finally get this, you finally see this happening. And then he's driving and I'm in the passenger seat. Shortly after, he's focusing back on the road and I'm listening and communicating, and my thoughts are coinciding with the radio before the radio answers. It's like my questions and my thoughts are being sent out, and then the radio is answering them with the right uh, words and vocabulary used by whatever sports radio host channel, because it was talk radio, and we only listened to sports talk radio, so it was a sports talk radio, and then all of a sudden it just goes dark. It just goes like the radio signal goes off, and I'm like, huh, like, I guess we're not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing this, or I'm not supposed to hear this, or I'm not supposed to hear and see this, because my dad and other people tend to not believe this stuff, but in this moment he was like, oh my god, like da 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 da, but with his eyes. So I thought. So the radio goes dark. Then he's like, what happened to the radio? And I'm just like, I look at him and I go, shh, couldn't tell you. And he's focusing on trying to turn the radio back on, because the radio is technically on, but the signal has gone dark. So he's like fidgeting with the radio, and we almost get in an accident. And I'm like, Dad, can we just focus on driving? He turns the radio off. We park at the Walmart. We go inside, and I'm just telling jokes. I'm like, my intelligence, my consciousness is just like at a really high level. And it's like I can't not realize that something different is going on. People are like staring more than normal. It's like if you just walk into a store, people like will make eye contact with you and like just like, hey, how's it going? Like, nice. But this was like a different kind. It's like if you talk to a psychiatrist, they'll tell people just stare. If you walk into a room, people will naturally look up and just look at you. And it's like, yes, that is true. But there is a different kind of stare, a different kind of look, like when you're looking at people and you're like, are you fucking seeing this? Kind of eyes. It's like that type of stare doesn't happen all the time. And so I'm just blatantly like just telling jokes, and kind of like my dad's laughing, and some of them he's like, those are funny, those aren't funny. So long story short, we get back, we are leaving the Walmart, and he crashes his cart into a bunch of other carts, unintentionally, and I go, at least if we crashed inside Walmart and not on the road, eh, Dad? It's like, and he just like kind of gives me like a little laugh or whatever, and it's like, a day goes by, and I'm like, what did you, when you looked at me when we were listening to the radio, and I was talking, like I think telepathically, telepath, telepathically, like I can say these fucking words. I don't understand why my mind fucks with me on this. It's like telepathically. It's like I can say them. I don't understand why. It's like it's really confusing and really annoying when I can't say a word like Sweden. It's like sometimes I just get tricked up on words that I know I can say, and then I just get frustrated and be like, fucking executed. Like, the plan is executed, or your head is rolling down the table chair, executed, right? It's like, rolling down the table chair, executed? What's that even mean? It's like I get frustrated because I know how to speak, and I know my vocabulary is much better than I'm presented with on a daily basis, it seems. So, back to the story. We're leaving Walmart, and he crashes into these carts, and I'm just like, hey, at least we crashed inside Walmart and not on the street. And he's like, laughs. And it's like, I don't even remember the jokes I was telling, but they were like funny. They were like, it's like, if I can make my dad laugh, then I know, like, he's not an easy person to make laugh. So it's like, I know, like, some of the jokes are funny, and some of the ones he didn't get or he didn't like. But it's just like, I understand that sometimes these delusions happen where it's like, you're not meant to, like, control or hear people talk through the radio. It's like, they hide in plain sight, but when they hide in plain sight too well, where it's just too obvious, I think it's like sometimes they just, like, MIB flash stick you somehow. And it's like I forget a week later, but, like, it's like my dad's like 20 seconds later, he's like, what are you talking about? The radio's not working, like, it just went off. And I'm like, what were you looking at me like that 25 seconds before the radio went off? It's like, what were you thinking? Because, like, I can tell your eyes were not like, you don't look at me like that unless there's something amazing going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have no idea what he was thinking at that time, and I have no idea what he was thinking afterwards and what happened, because I remember the whole time period, and it was like, if I didn't write this down on a piece of paper, I would forget too. It's like, so it's like I eventually forget as well, just unless I write these really abnormal times down. And it's like, my dad will say stuff to me that's really strange, and I'll be like, oh my god, like, what a time to say that. And then it's like, I'll ask him like a week later, and he'll be like, I don't remember what I was thinking. And I was like, how can you not remember? It's like, I just realized it's like, sometimes people speak through the radio, and sometimes people, I think, use us as, like, vessels. It's like that songs like, use and abuse, or use and love me right. It's like Bob Marley, use and love me right. It's like, I think, like, he was aware of some of these things that are happening. It's like, and then it's like, Sweet Dreams, Eurythmics, use and abuse. Some people want to use you, some people want to abuse you. I think Marilyn Manson did a cover. It's like, I just hear things over and over again, like Heart in a Blender. It's like Nookie from Limp Bizkit, Eve 6 in the 90s, and then, like, K-Flay, Blood in the Cut. It's like, they repeat a lot of these things. It's like, it's just, if you don't have, like, a memory where you hear something and remember it, it's like, sometimes you just, like, hear these repeated sentences executed. Sometimes you hear these repeated sentences over and over again. It's like, I got used to saying this in my mind, executed, because I was just like, the plan is executed, or you're executed. Don't fuck with my mind.